Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI Summer Season Friday tier Australian Grand Prix Round 5 out of 6. The Australian Grand Prix is a sprint race event. It seems to be dry throughout the entirety of it. It's Sir Maxon currently leading the way around the final corner. DRS open and across the line for the Haas driver, the championship leader, to take a brilliant pole position ahead of Dave Raptors in P2. Dave Raptors, I think, a podium sitter in the Saturday tier and a race winner in the Saturday tier, a podium sitter in the Friday tier, if I'm correct. That is qualifying done. So Max on pole position, Dave Raptors P2, Eager Pro P3, and then we go through the order. We'll see you in a bit for the sprint race. Ready, hold, go! Who's going to get it into turn one? The outside line for Sir Maxon, but it's a long run into the first corner, and the Ferrari will get into the lead of the Grand Prix. Absolutely incredible from Dave Raptors. The car's off in the background. That may have been Ed Bill or someone else, I'm not entirely sure. It is Sir Maxon P2, Jericho Willis with Igor racing side by side. Who's got the Ferrari Jack Lever and Salkin now going side by side as these two slot in behind one another. It's Zingy for the first time on a racing wheel here in P7, starting at the back of the pack, then Tom, and then it is Ed with damage, unfortunately, at the beginning of this race. Not the way that you want to debut in LSI, not the way you want to start a race event at all. But luckily it's a sprint event, so there is a second chance later on for Maxon. Not happy that they lost the lead into the first corner, but they have a good chance of getting it back with the DRS train that we will have around Australia. We do have 1, 2, 3, and 4 DRS zones in this circuit configuration. That is start finish straight, second straight, and then the big old bends on the left. You see that two double DRS detection zones, so actually only getting it twice throughout the lap. Dave Raptors still leads the way. On the medium tyre, the hard tyre for Sir Maxon, Hard, Vinny and Tom as well. Everybody else currently on that medium tyre. I'm not entirely sure what the best one is to go onto after doing a race myself. Personally, I picked the hard tyre because I thought that would be better later on, and I felt like it was, but it really depends on what's going on around you, because if you don't get that peak performance to begin with, then you might end up being swarmed by the rest of the field. That being said, it doesn't seem to be the case. Maxon was taking that car, the battery with DRS to ERS. Dave Raptors not going to let it go easy, and they do push to stay ahead here. DRS once again available for Sir Maxon, but because they have a terrible run, they're not going to have such an easy chance. They go back to the outside line to have a look, but Dave Raptors defends aggressively. and that is going to be just about safely staying in front. Got very, very close indeed. We've got Jericho Willis running the lovely chrome livery stuck right behind, and of course Eager Pro here as well. Oh, and that is unfortunately Jack Lever down the order spinning, and I don't know if he's just avoided the wall or not. It's Tom Robb into the pit lane and changing tyres, but it is Jack Lever unfortunately spinning, but no damage to that Ferrari car. The dirt, of course, once again, as I said, will be try and have a better chance of it later on. But it's currently running in the point positions. You get 1 point for P8 and 8 points for P1. Thingy sat behind Shelton looking to race new driver in the lead, a new driver on wheel. They've both got something new here. Of course, Shelton doing last weekend's race their first race. There is Selection taking the lead of the Grand Prix into turns 9 and 10 of Central. Willis watches that happen. See the gap extends from the car pushing. Jericho wouldn't have wanted to push to make that move until it was a little bit too late after realising it was going for it. That's why you see a slightly bigger gap forward in Nelly's pace. Eager Pro will watch that happen just in front. Currently, a train all the way from P1 to P6. The Scotsman flying to the back of it. It was including Jack Lever just a moment ago, but that's not the case right now. And when it's fitted, they are 30 seconds behind. It is Jack Lever head first, rather than penalty going to Jack Lever. There's a slight amount of damage. Someone is controlling the pace in that car. Might be able to give the Ferrari a bit of a challenge. After second, finish the match on. Will we see Dave Raptor quick to go for the move? And unfortunately, Jack Lever spinning the car. First sector, so we'll get an extra point position here. Down gears, slow the car down to engine braking. No brake required. And then continuing to follow the Haas car that's only going to get quicker as these players progress. But realistically, the Raptors does need to get ahead of the championship leader, otherwise they'll allow them to break away potentially. Those tyres will die off pretty hard very soon. We'll see that happen probably in about 2 laps time. The tyres will start to drop a little bit, and that car tyre will only get quicker. There is an off-track moment there for Dave Raptors, spending massively and gaining a lot of time, but without risking going over the penalty mark. That is actually a battle maybe between Thingy and Falcon, as they've just lost 2 seconds. So that is a big gap. Can I understand me? Okay. So what's frustrating is I did a load of testing. I did a load of testing on the microphone, and everything was looking great. And now the microphone's messed up again. Alright, hopefully we're back. I mean, unfortunately I can't really do much of this microphone. I'm practically shouting into the microphone. Just under shouting, I'm speaking very loud into this microphone. Just to try and get some audio into it. Jericho Willis just losing the DRS range from 2 cars in front. So Eager Pro is going to be looking to try and slingshot of the soonest moments. That is a time penalty there for Dave Raptors. Lap 6 as we took it short. Wait. It's a tiny bit better only because I've lowered the sound of the game and slightly increased my microphone. But it's still cutting out. Yep, I've done all of that. I've done all of that, don't worry. I've done everything that you can think of. It's not the microphone, it's OBS. I reset the OBS settings. I fixed it. I tested it before the live stream. Everything was fine. The levels were fine. There was a little bit of an unrelated issue that I had, but nothing to do with the issue that I'm having right now. And then it's proceeded, as soon as we start to race, as soon as the live stream starts to race, to completely mess up. And I can see I'm talking even louder and it's getting worse. I'm going to try and ignore it now and then look at it later. So Maxon continues to lead. Dave Raptors 7/10 behind. 3.3 seconds though. Jericho Willis and Egapro. Egapro losing the gap behind the McLaren as Zingy begins to have better tyres on the later stage of this race. Maybe Jericho Willis defending to try and stay P3 as they realised that they weren't going to be in a position to catch up to the cars in front. But that does now mean that 3 seconds to Dave Raptors is basically invalid. Zingy makes that move ahead of the Serbian. That's a 3-second time penalty for Egapro as well. So Zingy now is going to have to try and push his way to get towards Jericho Willis and maybe even past to try and then extend a bigger gap to try and close in on the Ferrari car that now doesn't have DRS as Sir Maxim has just pushed out of it. I don't know what to say. Oh, big mistake there for the Scotsman, and that'll be Egapro going straight back through. Simple stuff, but not so simple, as they do fight it on the inside. Zingy wants to try and stay ahead of the time penalty runner. That is Salkin having a massive impact with the wall right there, but he did seem to get away with it. It's 3 drivers with different penalties at this stage of the race. Final 2.5 laps remaining, and it's Sir Maxon breaking away for victory. 2 seconds in front now. It's Zingy who is trying their best. It's actually Jericho Willis making great progress on Dave Raptors. It's still having to work hard. They want to try and do more. Salkin gets a time penalty. Is now on level playing fields with Egapro. And the penalty situation is as follows. If they have penalties, it's a 3-second. If they don't, then it's nothing. And Egapro just slots in behind. We watch on board. Realistically, to see the smoothest driver that we've witnessed on controller move over to steering wheel, you don't see that big of a difference really. But there is clearly a steering wheel behind that car. Definitely a little bit rusty trying to learn the rope and ideally not learn the grass. Egapro will do that up ahead and look to try and get some sort of advantage, even if they just try and put the pressure on Zingy to try and get Scotsman a time penalty. But right now, the Mercedes doesn't have any intention of that. It's Jericho Willis that we're trying to see catch up to Dave Raptors here in this race. Oh, and once again another mistake for Zingy. They're just going to have to let Egapro go through now. And Igor hoping to try and catch up to Jericho Willis. But now you see the race leader start the final lap of the Grand Prix. 3.4 seconds ahead, plus a 3-second time penalty. 6.5 seconds in front of Dave Raptors, who is currently far enough away from Jericho Willis. But Jericho Willis is on the hunt. 2/10 of a second splits them and the car ahead between P2 and P3. 1 point difference only, but still useful in that, of course. Running a lovely looking colour scheme helmet. Giga Pro, exactly the same. And now they're ahead of the Scotsman. Selkin drops back as this battle continued. Maybe a little bit of a mistake from the Sauber. It's the Scotsman who has to try and look for a move just to try and get ahead to ensure there's no removal of a time penalty. Giga Pro is going to still go slightly defensive. The outside line is for the Scotsman. It should be the more advantageous one, but wow, what a send from Giga Pro to keep it on the inside without making contact. Then they do back off, but Zingy goes super wide. They are just going to be ahead, and Eagle wasn't willing to stick their nose in right there. It's Sir Maxon who takes victory in Australia for the sprint races. Dave Raptors P2, and then across the line is going to be Giga Pro, just missing out on Zingy. Jericho Willis P3, Zingy, Giga Pro, Salkin, and Edbeer will score 2 points for the first time in LSI, and it's going to be Tom Robb right behind in the end to score 1 point as Jack Lever is our only retirement of this race. That is the situation done. That is the race won. That is Sir Maxon P1. And although the microphone isn't exactly fixed, we managed to get to the end of it. Now we get ready for the main qualifying and the main race. We'll try and get some audio fixes, but the chances are there's nothing I can do. And I don't know what to say. Anyway, we carry on and we look at the results. It's Sir Maxon taking the win in the fastest lap. It's Dave Raptor, Jericho Willis, Zingy, Giga Pro Salkin, Edvid, Tom Robb, and Jack Lever retiring from the race. There's the race director, just in case we need it. Of course, track limits can be pretty brutal around this circuit after all. We'll be back in a bit. We'll see you for main qualifying in about 10 minutes' time. Right, we're not going to waste any time in trying to sort things out and then wait for the lobby. We're just going to get straight into setting everything up and trying to find good settings for the microphone. But obviously that is going to seem more difficult than it probably should be. But here we go. And everything might be alright, but if I run it like that, at the level I usually would, then we'll see. I'll test it. Right, it sounds to me as if I'm incredibly loud, but it is better than not loud, I guess. Why does it work now and not earlier? I don't know. But I'm going to try and speak a little bit quieter just to see how that sounds and if it actually picks up. But then if I slowly raise my voice, as we're about to see Tom begin their lap, then I'll have a kind of array of volumes that I'll be talking at, and I'll know from experience what I should be able to hear and what I shouldn't. Right, I'm going to claim that as a temporary victory and be ready for it to completely mess up. Tom out on track first to get ready to set their lap. Everybody out on track at the moment. And we'll hopefully get to see Edvir have a bit of a better chance at doing something here in the qualifying session and staying with a front wing for the race. We'll also get to see Zingy go for his first valid qualifying run in LSI with a steering wheel. And this is going to be Tom across the line to P1, a 16.8, and it is Zingy coming up just shortly after with DRS across the line all the way up to the exit curve, maybe a little bit too far, but that's a 16.0, lovely stuff. Nice and early on, 8/10 advantage. Edvir goes to P2, splitting in between. It's going to be then Sir Max on taking it away with a 15.303, and that is a big advantage that they've got there. That is Ferrari's following on. It's Jack Lever. We've had Dave Raptors just begin their lap. We've got Eager Pro coming across the line. And they will start another lap, actually. Oh, and that is interesting. Well, a deliberate collision into the wall during qualifying for Dave Raptors. It's going to be a penalty, which is a shame, but it's done now, and they'll start at the back of the pack. We're going with Eager Pro. Will be next to set their first lap. Everybody else right now on their way into the pit lane. Well, the Serbian probably was hoping to be in the pit lane by now, but they ended up having to go again because they invalidated their first run. or they would have been hoping to end this run here into the pit lane, but they're going again, and they look to be completing this lap, turning in, slightly lifting actually, before they made it through the corner. Not riding over the inside curve, not riding it over there in the final bit as well to try and keep the car stable. Continuing on the lap, not going into the pit lane, and to P3 with old tyres, a 15.894. And I'll tell you what right now, on their first lap, on a scrub set of tyres effectively, Iga Pro has beaten my fastest lap time that I did, and he's running exactly the same setup that I have. I say that, not exactly, but a very similar philosophy setup that I had. It wasn't that complicated really, it was a pretty simple setup. So, he's just a better driver, to be honest. We continue though with the session, and I believe everything sounds pretty good. I'm going to do one more double check and we'll be good to go. Everything is apparently perfect as it looks to my senses, but I will stay skeptical. Wheel just died, says Dave Raptors, so I pray for them. That's the way it looks. And it could have been, to be honest. It continues as they're about to begin their second run of the session. Into the first corner, very close to invalidating, but it's the way you want to run it if you want to gain the most time possible. And then moving to the left-hand side of the circuit to avoid the bump in the middle, riding over the curbs, and then opening up the steering. Up through the gears, up to 7th. Would they go up to 8th or keep it in the 7th gear? They stay in the 7th as they should. Into 6th if you can carry the speed. 5th is possible in the race with a heavy fuel load. Bring it back to the right hand side, try to minimize track distance, and then off to the left as well. Open up the racing line once more, and then just lifting off the throttle and shifting down once. DRS open, into turn 11 they'll go, slamming the brakes very, very hard, and then getting all the way to the apex of the corner. Third gear, slam the pedal back down and hope that you can keep it in a straight line. Very quick through turn 12. And then the final complex, not fully bringing it to the left, but instead to the middle, so you don't get a massive slide as you turn through the corner. There is P6 right now, and there is across the line staying P6, as there was a marginal improvement there in the end from Edvir. And that is a 16.5. They still stay where they are. They've got pressure from behind with Selkin looking to improve. They've also got the car ahead, of course, Jack Lever not too far away from them. Lots of cars about to go again. There's actually Tom, who is P8 across the line. And that's improving by a tiny margin in the end, but not a massive one. And accidentally giving a tow as well to the car behind. It's then going to be Jericho Willis backing off on their run here, as they've actually maybe just finished that lap. I'm not entirely sure. A 15.7, P2 right now, still a very, very good lap. It must have been just now. That is a very nice lap indeed. It's Zingy though, into the final few corners. Looking to get through DRS. Can they make it into the 15-second range? And they do so, a 15.7 ahead of Egapro for now, and very close to the back of Jericho Willis. Egapro invalidates. It's going to be Edver into the pit lane. It's then going to be, we've got Sulkin, followed by Samaxon, who is about to start their next lap. It's the Sauber who goes through right now. And into turn 11. 6 minutes, just about 7 minutes on the clock. Trying to keep away from locking the brakes too much. Slight audio effect on our side, but there will be a little bit of locking here and there right there for Selkin. To P5 they go, 16.147 in the end, just behind Igor and a fair few tenths ahead of Jack Lever. There's still more time in the session for everybody to improve. This man right now invalidates, as they were looking to try and improve over their previous best, the current pole time of a 0.3. They do continue to speed around the lap to try and get back into the pit lane so they can prepare themselves for the next phase. And Egapro actually looking like it's going pretty quickly, to be honest. I'm not sure if they're looking to try and complete this lap or not, and they will do so. Once again, another scrub tyre run across the line, and they improve once more. 0.6, that's a P2 for now. Brilliant job there for Egapro. What can they do if they keep the tyres together, you know? That would be pretty impressive. Pulling it to the left, of course, as we said just before. And here we go once more with Tom Robb across the line to begin their lap. We've got Jericho Willis also out on track. Egapro leaving, getting ready for their final run. 3 minutes on the clock, close to the white line. There's a yellow line and a white line around this circuit. You've got to try and follow the white line. The yellow line isn't so helpful. Very hard over that curb there on the inside. Tom, that's not going to gain them any time right there. But they continue across the sector line. 8 tenths down in the first sector, which is absolutely huge. I do wonder if they forgot to turn the battery on. And it seems that may be the case, unless they're looking to warm their tyres up a second time. Well, it's Jericho Willis who begins their lap and seems to be doing a similar thing. And Eager Pro will likely follow suit. So something that maybe I wasn't able to find out. We're getting double runs from many drivers. As they wish to warm up their tyres. I haven't seen this before, to be honest. Of course, I've seen it before in my time, but I haven't seen it before in recent times in this game and around the circuit. The Eager Pro is the next one to go along, and we will see them push. So they're not going to go for a second run. They will go for their final run. No traffic to the right hand side, no traffic around the lap it should be. And everyone, except from Dave Raptors, is now out on track. Eager Pro moving once again to the left hand side, trying to avoid the sausage curb on the inside, move all the way to the right and then left, a little bit away from the apex and completely over the curb, all over the grass, and still time to back off on this lap. So maybe Eager Pro is going to wait to back off here, slow a little bit on their previous best, but not too far away from it, to be honest. An incredibly short sector as you're just going basically flat out. Considering they had some grass on their tyres, they may have lost a little bit more lap time. No, it's pretty much the same. So they're going to invalidate and they're going to have to back off there. I thought they were going to maybe try and push a little bit further, but no, they do end up giving it in. It's Jericho Willis for the final time. Going again. It's actually Tom, who I think maybe just went for their final run actually to P8. They stay P8 and a 16.824. No improvement for the Red Bull, but the McLaren across the sector line as they go into the fast chicane. We'll watch from an off-board view, pretty much dead on their time, and it absolutely pinned to the floor. DRS open and heavy braking. When you get to this point, you're holding on for dear life and hoping that the car slows down, sending it over the sausage curb. It looks so quick, even in the game. Absolutely insane, especially compared to previous years. They're flying around this circuit, and it's Jericho Willis, DRS, for the final time here in qualifying, crossing the line, and improves to a .359. Absolutely incredible, but not quite enough for Samaxon. A brilliant improvement over Eager Pro. Who's up next? Enter into the pit lane. Eager Pro invalidates again. That will be it for them. It's going to be Jack Lever crossing the line, P6 right now, and it's going to be a 5/10 improvement up to P5. Brilliant stuff indeed. They will have the Scotsman. We'll have Tom Robb cross the line again, but that's not going to be an improvement. It's Zingy looking for pole position. Samaxon is fighting back, but it's going to be a little bit close. As long as Samaxon doesn't make a mistake, it is their pole position. But Zingy has put a brilliant lap in right at the end as the track evolves to its final point. Samaxon, DRS, ERS, it looked tidy, it shouldn't be a contest, and it's wow! A 5/10 improvement almost to 14.8 in the end. What a session. What a session. And I thought Zingy may have had it there. But Samaxon didn't put a foot wrong, and that is pole position still for the pole driver. That is Samaxon, Zingy, and Jericho Willis, the top three on the grid right now. The outright pace there for the new real driver, Zingy, is there. It's just whether they can keep it consistent in the race. We will see you in a bit for the race start. Ready. Hold. Go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Sir Maxon on the outside line this time gets a better start. It's Jericho Willis side by side with the Scotsman. And that's a brilliant move into the first corner. It's not quite over, but I think it's just about done. And Zingy wasn't able to hold on for very long. Jack Lever P4 following behind the Mercedes car, but it's sulking P5 right now. I don't think anybody's gone too far back. As we see, that is Sir Maxon breaking away already. Brilliant stuff there from them. Everybody else within a train. Jack Lever 4 seconds behind. They are looking a little bit dicey as if they're breaking away. And there goes the microphone once again. It starts to drop away. I hope we're okay and we're not actually losing too much audio. But there we go. We continue and we pray that it's going to work out. It doesn't look great, does it? But Sir Maxon, a brilliant start from them. Jericho Willis sits behind. It's Zingy in P3. And then Jack Lever. We've got Selkin, Edgar, Dave Raptors, Tom, and Eager Pro, who did have an issue. That's what happened there. No damage. And sitting right at the back of the pack here, we've got Dave Raptors all over the place in the rear end. And we're going to get a second on the tyre situation to see what that's all about. It is the hard tyre, slippy and slidey for them to begin with. It's the mediums for the top three though. Hopefully being a little bit quieter has helped the mic out, but it seems to be that maybe it hasn't. It's got its issues once again. I tried to be quiet to allow it some time, but it's not really working out that well. We're going to continue, as ever, as we see some cars get very close to one another. Ed Veer getting pressure from Dave Raptors. Not actually working too bad now. We've got Zingy and Jericho Willis following each other. And they're breaking away on their own, as Sir Maxon has done so solely. Then Jack Lever with P4 ahead of Selkin, who's going to be looking to try and attack next. And DRS is available here on lap 3, but a position to overtake is not so. Oh, but it's Dave Raptors sending it on the inside line of the Sauber car and then getting there in the next corner just after as well. It's Edgebeer, who was in a position to look to battle, but ended up making a mistake and unfortunately is down the order. Not with damage this time, but 2.8 seconds away. Tom, P8, 1.8 seconds. We've got Eager Pro on the hard tyre, the last of the hard tyre runners right now, Salkin. And Dave Raptors is right there. Dave Raptors making progress, and they've got their teammate up ahead, all on the same tyre. So that's interesting stuff here. The two Ferraris are going to have to split their strategy at some point in this race. Oh, I wasn't looking at the screen. What happened there? Dave Raptors goes down a little bit and ends up going side by side for a moment with Salkin. Could have gone very horribly wrong, but it stays as it is for now. Again, another big off there for Dave Raptors, but they did make that move on their teammate and is now in clean air. 2.9 seconds trying to make progress. As they've got 3 champions up in front of them, being a champion themselves as well. The only other champion on the grid is Egapro. Not too far away in this battle. At the back of this train, that is. Either getting a 3-second time penalty. The maximum now 3.8 seconds ahead of Scotsman to Jericho Willis, staying in the tracks of the Mercedes car. Dave Raptors hustling around right now, waiting for the perfect time for the tyres to switch over and that hard tyre to get faster and faster. But having to be aware of what strategy may be the call. Jack Lever, his teammate, is sitting behind now and preventing Selkin from having any kind of look. Time penalties for both Ed Lever and for Jack Lever. Sorry, Ed Beer and Jack Lever. And Ed Beer closing up to the back of the German right now. For Selkin having a look, but not quite able to get there. Oh no, big crash, big crash. Egapro goes through and Egapro is going to have to push here on the battery, otherwise they could lose the DRS train. Selkin making a mistake on the exit of turn 2 and sliding into the wall. Very, very nasty stuff, easily done, but really easy to also go horribly wrong. Somehow they've managed to keep it together. They do lose the train with all that momentum loss, but they don't have damage, which is absolutely remarkable. They may have some slight damage that will cause a little bit of a performance loss, but nothing major, which is crazy to think. Stay where they are, they're in the pack, they're all good to go. It's Dave Raptors who will go on board with next, but I don't think we're going to see any trouble. We might see some trouble from Jericho Willis, who is fairly close to his rival of this race so far. Although that being said, Egapro will be the next car to look at here. Jack Lever right on the racing line there. Not ideal. Getting back into this race, no damage, just a spin. Dangerous part of the circuit to have a spin out, of course. But down the order now racing the Williams car. That's a time penalty for Dave Raptors in the meantime. Getting a time penalty in the sprint race as well. Back off last second. DRS available, but dirty air also is part of that package in the F125 game, and you're not going to get yourself on the inside of that move. Not safely anyway. Tom just up ahead, and Jack and Ed really need to try and work together here to catch up to Tom just in front. And believe it or not, I think they may have already done so. No, Jack into the pit lane. They follow Tom just up in front. Very early pit window. They do it anyway. Fairly early, I'd say. Not massively, but fairly early. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. Definitely early for Jack Lever there. They must have had some damage that we couldn't really see. In the meantime, Dave Raptors has caught Jericho Willis and Zingy up in front. It's a 5.4 second gap that Sir Maxon has. Zingy and Jericho Willis. And for a minute, I'm going to let the microphone rest and come back to it, and hopefully it's fixed itself. But right now, I'm speaking so loud that I'm not going to be able to continue the rest of the stream. It's just going to ruin me. So I'll be back. Big off there, unfortunately. Jericho Willis dropping. No fault of anyone's. And just a moment of traction loss. Jericho Willis really finding that these medium tyres are starting to get pretty old. Dave Raptors is only getting quicker. Eager Pro will find that as well, with Dalton too. Looking to try and capitalise on these medium tyre runners at this stage. And there's a clear DRS chance and a battery saving moment there for the Scotsmen to allow an easy pass. They make it too easy though, because Ferrari will break away a little bit too quickly if they're not careful. Dave Raptors going for an incredible undercut here. That's a bold move. hope not as bold as Lando Norris in COVID times, but it's a pretty bold move. As they just come out ahead of the Williams car. It does have warm medium tyres and worn medium tyres as well. But luckily they stay ahead and now can race their own race. It's like the front end of that Williams is floating. It's not, but it looks like it is. And there's pit stops from those ahead. That's Thingy, Jericho Willis, Max Tom, all in the pit lane, leaving the pit lane. It's Dave Raptors who comes out massively ahead and is on, well, exactly the same tyre. Even though they started on the hard, so they're looking for a set of mediums. They go for the two-stop strategy, aggression over standard, and 6 seconds advantage right now, hoping that they've got the pace advantage. Once again, that's a bold move. They have gained lap time on Samaxon. They do have a time penalty, however. It's going to be an interesting one. The new top two do see Samaxon catch up slowly but surely, and that hard tyre is going to be very, very quick. 3-second no for the championship leader and race leader so far in this race. And once again, I apologise for the issues with the microphone, but it hasn't fixed itself once again. That's a yellow. That is, I believe, Tom having an issue. Or maybe Edgar actually. Daddy Felton being overtaken. A bit, no problem. Tom all over the place with no front wing, unfortunately. There is an issue on their end. He's the pro now next up. Mr. Maxon. There's the pit lane for the German. And it's, I think, just about DRS for the pole. We look to try and make that move into the second stage. No, DRS wasn't available. They're going to get very close by the time we get to turn 4. They're going to use the battery, I think. With the exit they've had to basically make the DRS move. Such a big run. Turning it into the corner, having to make a slight correction, but eventually getting there. And they will continue on their way in the lead of the race so far. Dave Raptors though, next to try and overtake Falcon. And we continue, and I once again apologise for the mic issues. Hopefully they're not too bad right now. But it's what we've got. It's 3.9 seconds between Dave Raptors and Samaxon. It's Sulkin who hasn't pitted just yet in P3. And it's Jack Lever Eager Pro who went into the pit lane just now. And I'm really seeing some early pit stops. I mean, the one stop is the way to go for sure, but I thought that maybe there would have been 20 laps on the hards and a bit different, but no, I guess 16 laps is fine. Absolutely fine. Falcon going for the more straightforward standard strategy. Or maybe not actually. Will be a lap late. Giga Pro will adjust them by a fair bit. There he is, going for the move. 4 seconds, that will extend even further than 4 seconds. That gap is going to be absolutely huge. 1 lap later, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8 by the time we get to turn 4. No, not quite. Just, oh, no, there we go. Eventually getting there, and now cold tires, 7 seconds to be broken. So that's the advantage that you get around the circuit by pitting in the correct window. Let's try and speak directly into the mic, as it seems to be required right now. But I'll tell you what, as soon as I stop streaming, this mic's going to have no issues whatsoever. I know it, I guarantee it. Now these cars are all warming up their tyres on the final stint, lap 18 out of 29. 4.9 seconds as Samaxon extends their advantage. Time penalty wise, everybody that has one has a 3 second that's set from its 9 second for Jack Lever and a 6 second for Tom Robb. Selkin and Zingy, the only drivers to not have any time penalties at this stage of the race. Dorica Willis, after all the strategy changes and the pace difference, has been able to catch back up to the Scotsman. But that being said, is their pace big or good enough to get ahead of the Scotsman and extend a distance? That time penalty is not going to be kind to them by the time they cross the line to finish this race, that's for sure. Right. Jericho Willis continues to pressure the Scotsman to try and have a go. But right now, nothing's changing. That's another mistake from Tom there. Yellow flag for a moment. I'm really interested to see what happens with Dave Raptor's strategy tool here, though. Jack Lever on a similar strategy too. And when I say Jack Lever's on a similar strategy, I mean they're on the 2-stop or so. Everybody else, 1 stop, and that is it. That being said, why does Dave Raptors need to do a second stop? I believe they started on the hard, so that's why they have to. That's a mistake there for Eager Pro, and they go down the order a little bit. 10 seconds now away from Jericho Willis, who they were almost on the back of not too long ago. Losing their advantage to Sulkin. Not entirely, still out of DRS and a little bit more. But now Sulkin is within time penalty range of the Serbian. And that's not good for them. Not good at all. Once again, a quick update. I do apologise for the radio silence here and there. We do have some microphone issues that I'm trying to fix in the background, but right now it seems to be that this is going to be how it is for the rest of the stream. I am effectively shouting into the microphone so that you can even slightly hear me. So I do apologise. You'll still get to see the coverage as normal, and I'll make sure I change to all necessary cameras. But for now, commentary will come only on when it needs to. Dave Raptors into the pit lane. There's the call. That's what we were waiting for. And where will they end up leaving? And where will they end up in this race? Well, luckily for them, Eager Pro's had a spin. So they're going to get ahead of at least one car. That's going to be a yellow for Tom crashing on the exit of turn 5. No safety car will be deployed. And it's an 8-second margin that Dave Raptors will have to make. Fresh medium tyres to the end. They're going to be rapid all the way. All the way. And unfortunately, that's Jack Lever down the order, having an issue. Very frustrating. Not entirely sure what their intention was with that one, but I think it's a puncture actually. 15 lap of medium tyres. They can't keep the car in a straight line. Now they're bottoming out into the grass. They're all going right. There's a full safety car deployed. Time penalty wise, this is going to be a nightmare, and it's an opportunity for Zingy to win the race. 21-second advantage. Jack Lever retires on the track, but I don't think they'll be getting any penalty for because they are stuck. And they could have reset the track in that scenario, but maybe not using the rules. Not do so. Fresh tyres for the Scotsman it will be. So Maxon not getting the opportunity to pit, or not choosing to pit. And Dave Raptors on recent fresh medium tyres feels they can be good to go to the end of the Grand Prix. Equal playing field with Sir Maxon time penalty wise, but a massive advantage tyre wise. Zingy's hoping that these cars ahead fight each other, but he doesn't have to do anything to take the victory here. And I'll tell you what, Sir Maxon is furious. A very similar situation happened last weekend in the Saturday tier for Zandvoort. Sir Maxon lost out to victory to Nifojan. He played it perfect. What will Sir Maxon do? The delta continues. Everybody has to keep a fairly consistent gap. Are they going to pit? They are going to pit. They're going to overtake the safety car very early. Is that the right call? Are they going to get disqualified? Well, they try to enter the pit lane as soon as they can. And they played that very, very well. Just about. Now they're going to try and minimize their gap loss. They're going to come up right behind Jericho Willick. But ahead of Igor. Selkin and Edgeville both on soft tyres, which is going to be a very tough ask. Very tough indeed. There's some action now to P4. And they're going to have to make progress ahead of Jericho Willis and Dave Raptors, and extend a 3-second gap to the Scotsman. So Maxon has the pace, but also has a very tall order. And once again, we do apologise for the microphone issues that I am encountering. But we're only coming to the closing stages of the Grand Prix now, so we don't have to endure this too much longer. I will continue to commentate until the end and hope that you guys can hear me well enough. But it's just as frustrating for me as it is for you guys to hear. So I do apologise. There's not much I can do. Now we're just waiting. We're just waiting for the safety car to come back in. And we will get that on the next lap. Edveer is the next car to catch up. And then Zingy will have 2 laps to try and not allow any car around them to break away more than 3 seconds. And it's 3 seconds for everybody except from Edveer on this grid. And as long as you finish this race, you will score a P7 position and take home a decent amount of points. And there is the call for the safety car restart. It's Dave Raptors who will be the one to set off. It's Zingy to react. The safety car is yet to come into the pit lane. Once it is, they'll go at any point they can. There is the safety car in the pit lane. Dave Raptors getting ready, holding the field very tight together. And then they'll probably push into the corner. Try and break away, getting on the throttle. And they know that they'll have that advantage over Zingy. With Zingy not having so much experience on the throttle control. There we are, racing once again. Lap 28 out of 29 has begun. It's the Scotsman hunting down the Brit. What can they do? Dave Raptors, P1, but with a 3-second time penalty. It is Jericho Willis in the same situation as the Ferrari driver, Sir Max on 2, Eager Pro as well. Salkin can gain from this as long as their tyres will hold on, but no, oh, Edfear into the wall at turn 3. That is an interesting one, a very interesting one to go off at that point. That is a big crash, but Dave Raptors is trying their best to break away. DRS will be available for the final lap of the Grand Prix, and right now, with half a second in it, Zingy is looking very, very good to try and take victory. We've got Sir Max on, pushing Jericho Willis to the limit, and it's going to be probably Jericho Willis having to force a move on Zingy, because if they don't, they risk losing out to Sir Max on. Dave Raptors hoping that they can finish ahead of Salkin, whose soft tyres are already dead. How hard is that soft tyre going to continue to drop off? I don't know, but we've got a very tight pack indeed. It's going to be brutal. It's the Maxon with the fastest lap, as we could see them clearly pushing that car to the absolute limit through turns 8, 9 and 10. Absolutely insane stuff. And there is Sir Maxon. The inside line is theirs. An aggressive move right to the limit. Oh, Jericho Willis isn't going to be happy, but the move is done and dusted. And it's Sir Maxon who's now trying to make 2 moves in half a lap to get a go at Dave Raptors. It was Zingy going off the circuit. Almost looked like they were going to end up getting themselves a time penalty. No battery available for either Sir Maxon or Zingy. Dave Raptors trying to use everything they can here in the final stage. What's going to be possible? The Ferrari into turn 11. It will continue to look at taking victory on track, but it's this man who's got a few more corners to go and stay within track limits, and it could be theirs. Their first race on wheel. Oh, I don't know what to say, but they're going to be absolutely delighted with this one. Losing the car at the very last stages as they can't believe what's just happened. Dave Raptors crosses the line to take victory, but it's Zingy who wins the Australian Grand Prix. Oh, what a race we've just had. Dave Raptors to P2 in the end. I think Sir Maxon got P3 of the fastest lap. I don't know where Salkin ended up with no time penalties for their race. What a battle we had. Jericho Willis frustrated with what just happened there and does leave. It's Salkin who gets ahead of Eager Pro, who had an extra 3-second time penalty in the very last moment of that race, which is such a shame to see. We go through the race director quickly first before we lose everything and before I lose my voice. There's the pit stops, and that is Zingy taking victory in Australia. It's Dave Raptors for P2 and Sir Maxon in P3. Jericho Willis in P4. Salkin, Eager Pro, Edfear retiring at the final moment, but still being classed as scoring points. It's Jack Lever who DNF'd earlier on, and Tom Robb as well. We will see you in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Australian Grand Prix. That was absolutely crazy, especially at the end. We start with Tom. Tom, that was a tough one. A DNF, unfortunately, returning back to racing. Can you take us through it?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect anything for myself. Last time I raced, it was for the Monza race. And then like 1 hour practice session for maybe driving Sanford. So yeah, wasn't expecting anything. My setup was from my team race right at the start of the game. I knew it wouldn't be compatible. Yeah, I mean in the first and last sector. At least in clean air, I was up to the pace of the other cars, and at least for a few. But the downforce made me a lot slower on the straight. So yeah, that was no chance in the sprint race. Yeah, damaged front wing from turn one. Pitted lap two then because I knew the medium was going to be hard for me to get to the end if I pitted in lap one. And then just tried to get some practice in for the main race. In qualifying, my fastest lap was my first lap I set, so that says everything. In the end, while I was a few laps out, I just tried to get again just a bit of practice, saved one set of tires. In hope safety car would come out in the end, like it actually did. But yeah, in the race, in the dirty air, I struggled a lot. And clean air was again a good pace. I think of general pace, especially in clean air, I would have been like 7th today, which I'm quite happy about considering how less I've driven last time. So yeah, by that I'm quite happy. But around lap 11, lap 12, I just started to push a little bit too much every lap. Made a lot of mistakes at turn one, and the fast right hand at the start of the middle sector. And then the mistakes just kept happening. Yeah. The plan was then just to finish the race. I even didn't really know how I lost control of my car when I DNF, which is a bit annoying. But I didn't expect to be fast or anything. I just wanted to get back into the rhythm of driving on Friday evening, which I did. So I have to look forward to other races then.
Yeah, for sure. It was great to see you back, so thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for the effort. Brazil, that's the next one up. If you're there or not, is that a good circuit for you?
I've honestly no idea. On this game, I've driven like 5 tracks or so. So I can generally not tell if a track suits me this game or not because it's quite different than last year's game, at least for me, especially in dirty air. And in Brazil, I usually struggled a bit in the middle sector compared to the other guys, so that's going to be fun, especially if I'm a lot slower in dirty air. But I just have to see and maybe get at least a bit practice in compared to today.
For sure, for sure. Well, I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Really good effort. Glad to see you back. Glad to see you learning some things, and we'll see you next time. And we move on to Dave Raptors. Apologies if you can't really hear me because I realise my mic is just absolutely having a meltdown. It seems that it's maybe not OBS anymore. It could actually be a bigger problem. So random. Anyway, Dave, really a difficult one in the main race with lots of ups and downs. Are you still happy with the way it went, even though that the very end was a little bit fortunate?
To be honest, a lot of mistakes today. Wasn't the best, but at the end of the day, P2's still a really good result, and I think at the end of the day, it was going to be maximum anyway, just because I was never going to be as quick as Simaxon. So, P2 obviously in both sessions was the maximum I could do. I mean, if I break it down, I think obviously I didn't have too much practice, but I've still got into P2 in the sprint and kind of kept myself in P2 and tried to stay with Sam Axon for as long as possible. I did realise when I got in the session that I should have taken harder tyres, but that was a mistake on my part because I think the hards are just going to be a much better tyre pretty much any distance this year, especially for me with how highly I wear my tyres. So that was a mistake, but I still got P2, so that was fine. And then obviously in qualifying for the main race, I had a little technical issue, which is a bit annoying at the moment because my wheel is playing up quite a lot. So I'm just it's good that it hasn't happened in a race yet. But we'll see how that goes for the future. But the race was good. I mean, I had a couple of issues on lap 1, but after I've got them sorted with my hardware, with the wheel, it was all good. Just fighting my way through, made some quite aggressive moves, but definitely obviously fair moves, just to try and get myself through that kind of slower field, like slightly slower field. Because it was I could tell through some of the corners it was really hard to actually gain time because of the dirty air effects. I really had to burn my ARS and send one down the inside to get past. So I think on this game it's going to be crucial really to try and stay kind of with the drivers around you and not really bottle quality too much, because I think it's quite difficult to get past even drivers a couple of tenths off you, as I saw today. I also accidentally went on hard tyres, so that was a bit of an issue. So I ended up going for a 2-stop, which I think was going to really work out well, and I think I was going to catch the back of the other two. I don't think I was ever going to beat Zingy, just because of the penalty situations. But got myself back up to obviously PP2 and then boxed, but obviously that safety car came up, which is very fortunate at the end. Definitely no crash gate or anything on that, a bit unfortunate for my teammate with that double puncture towards the end of the race. And then P2 was the maximum I could have done. So just I'm happy with the result, happy with the pace, obviously, and it's just good to get some more practice done on this game. I think I think it's going to be a bit of a difficult game for me with how much I do wear the tyres out, especially if there aren't any safety cars in the race. But hopefully I can get on top of that as the game cycle kind of proceeds further on into the race. But good race apart from that.
As always, well said. Exactly right, but a very, very good effort. Hopefully you can get those wheel issues sorted out by next time. Just make sure you inspect the cable to see if there are any bends in it or not. That's what I'd say if it's like a power issue. I don't know. Anyway, Brazil. A different circuit, a bit higher downforce, I believe, but not too much. Lots of DRS training going on there as well. Is that a circuit that you like?
Honestly, Brazil's one of my favourite tracks, and it has been on every single game. I haven't run it that much this year, but it just tends to be a track that really suits me, especially in the middle sector. So, I'm obviously really excited for that race, and I'm sure it's going to be a good one, as it almost always is at Brazil. You can get really good racing there with the double DRS section, and obviously it being quite a short lap, so I'm sure that race is going to be very good.
I can't wait as well. Thank you very much, Dave. Really good effort today, and well done on the P2.
Cheers. Thank you very much, guys.
And we move on to Salkin. Salkin, that was a decent battle for a while with Igapro. I mean, you were with the top pack for a little bit as well to begin with. Soft tyre, maybe not the right call towards the end.
Yeah, I didn't have any medium, so gotta go for the next best thing, and that was the softs. So the soft was the tire. Not the best pace, could be in higher placement, but since I got the 3-second penalty by taking a little more risk to get up in the back of Igor, it went south. So
it's frustrating, of course, but you did give it a good effort, and you were staying away from the track limits for a long time as well through the entire race. So good effort. There's positives to take away from it. Brazil, very different circuit, but at the same time fairly similar. DRS trains can be very, very possible. Raceability around Brazil is great. Do you like that circuit?
I really like the Brazilian circuit. I think it's one of my better tracks, and there will be good battles there, I will think. So yeah, I think it will be good next weekend with on Friday. So happy to be there if I can.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I can't wait. We'll see you there. Well done today.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
And we move on to Samaxon. Samaxon, I don't know what to say. Another frustrating one there in the final moments of the race. This one, it was a little bit quicker in the very final few laps rather than basically half the race, having to suffer on the wrong strategy. Can you take us through it? Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
Yeah, you can start with like a one-shot quali. Quite a good lap for me. Then the sprint, of course, starting more hard because it's the better tire for the sprint on this track. So, yeah, didn't really have a good traction of the line, lost the position to Ethan. Then, I think like 2-3 laps later, I overtook him, managed to stay ahead, then I would say finally just getting out of DRS and driving till the end. So that was the sprint. And then the race came. Another good quali. And then starting on pole with Zingy, managed the red lights were quite on for some time, so I think that's why also Zingy might have messed up his start a little, gained that second gap on lap 1, and then just driving. And I get a really stupid penalty. Not really my fault, I was out of foot, and I checked I was on the white line. So maybe I could have just get it removed, but yeah. It happened. So then just pitting on lap 12, managing the pace, managing the gap. It was 16 seconds, and as always in the last few races, just being unlucky. And I think I just got that. Charlie's not driving, so I think I got that unlucky thing from him, and that's just how it worked. Just past the pit lane entry when the safety car came out. And that was basically it. Just another race gone.
Yeah.
I think it is the Sunday tier championship. I mean, yeah, sorry, Friday tier championship for me, so at least something. I don't really know if I'll be racing Brazil. Not really a good circuit for me. Just making some mistakes in different corners. Also, didn't really have quite the best battles there. And I would say just lacking overall pace. And I'm just not sure if I'll be available on Friday and on Saturday. We'll see how the Saturday one goes, because I think, yeah, Zingy is still somewhere there, and I hope tomorrow will just be better. Maybe break that streak of unlucky safety cars. And there's always really something.
Yeah.
I still don't know how could a driver be driving so long on a tire that both left tires explode. I just don't understand why. And yeah.
Yep, it's a difficult one, but at the same time, for an unlucky driver, you have managed to, I believe, although I need to double check this, secure both championships. Not in the constructors' side or the team side.
Does the reserves drivers count into the championship?
The reserve drivers.
Yes.
They do, but it doesn't make a difference.
So Saturday is not secure.
Saturday isn't secure, or is secure because the only driver to contest the reserve driver, so the reserve driver, your opponent driver. So that's that. And yeah, you have done it. So it's not too bad in the end. Yeah, you said about Brazil already, so I won't ask you about that. Thank you very much. Really good effort today. I'm sorry it didn't go the way you wanted it to in the end, but we'll speak to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
And we move on to Zingy. Zingy, congratulations. That was a brilliant result in the end with the first time on the wheel. Take us through it.
Yeah, the sprint race couldn't have got off to a worse start. I bottled my qualifying. I could have been easily P2, seeing my pace. In the practices, I was about 5 tenths off the max one, so I could have got P2. I messed up. That's completely on me. But for qualifying, I rectified my issues. For a second, I thought I was on pole position. I was absolutely ecstatic. Then for this Polish guy to put it 4 tenths in front of me like he's Robert Kubica. But unfortunately, that's the case. We went into the race. Dave done his 2 stops, so he jumped us, and I was able to keep Jericho behind just because I had lower wings. And the dirty airs, a lot of drivers have said, it's absolutely brutal. So I was just maintaining the pace consistently, keeping my tires alive, which were actually a lot less wear than people around me, apparently, so that was also very good. And when the safety car came, I was very lucky to just about be in the right place for the pit lane, and yeah, unfortunately, Tim Axton missed it, and I was just there to pick up the pieces. And although it was difficult, I made a few mistakes, as you've probably seen. I wasn't perfect. I was able to be there and not get any penalties, and that's what mattered in the end.
Yeah, indeed. Exactly right. And yeah, congratulations. That's a lovely way to start the steering wheel era. A little bit of fortune, but of course you need to be in that position to get there. So we're really well done, and congratulations on that one. Brazil is a brilliant race circuit. A little bit more time until that one. Do you think you can do well there?
Just on that last comment, you do mention a lot, Aaron, that you need to create your own luck in that sense. So I was there, right place, right time, and I've been caught off another end of that. But yeah, going into Brazil's a track that's, I mean, it's going to be separated by little tens, if not hundreds. So there probably will be a DRS train, and there probably will be some people who are unfortunate enough to break off that. But I think you just got to be, as I say already, right place, right time, manage the tires, fuel, ERS, and make your attack accordingly. Because I don't think the dirty air is that bad because the low speed corners. So I think everyone's just going to be together, clustered into a little train. So that doesn't really answer your question as to how I'm going to do there, but it's such an unknown to me that I'm just going to have to wait and see how it goes.
Awesome. I can't wait. Thank you very much. Really, really well done today. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. Sorry for the microphone issues, but thank you very much for sticking with us. We'll see you tomorrow for the Australian Grand Prix, and we'll see you next weekend for the finale in Brazil. Have a good one. Bye-bye.